Hello, hello! It has been quite a while since I have made a video, but I'm back. Today, our topic of discussion is the higher self versus the soul. What is the difference? Oftentimes, we hear these words used interchangeably within the spiritual community. I myself have probably been guilty of doing this, using higher self in the place of soul, using soul in the place of higher self, and so on and so forth. And it is just a slip of a tongue sometimes because they are very, very similar yet different. So what is the difference between them? So think of the higher self like the house for the soul, where the soul goes to live or where the soul goes home to. When you come into this lifetime, meaning this iteration of your life, your identity as you know it to be now, your soul enters your body. You have a soul in a physical body. Okay, we can all get on board with that, right? That soul comes from a higher self. Higher self above your head, soul in your body. Now, that higher self doesn't have just that one soul that is in your current body. That higher self has an insurmountable amount of souls. We don't know necessarily the quantity. That's probably something that we're not necessarily meant to know in human form, or maybe our brains are kind of blocking that information. But let's just say an insurmountable quantity of souls, be it 100, be it 5,000. We don't know the answer to that. But the higher self has a large quantity of souls that are connected to it. They're all iterations of you. Those souls are all iterations of you. So think of those souls as replicas of you, replicas of the soul that is currently inside of you, with some slight deviations, because they are all coming from the same higher self. So in other words, there's only one higher self, multiple souls, and each of those souls will reside in a different body. So when it comes to reincarnation, when you reincarnate, the soul that is in your current body, living your current lifetime, that exact soul will not enter the new body or the body in an additional lifetime. One of the other iterations of the very, very similar yet somewhat different soul from the same higher self will enter the body in a different lifetime. Okay, this soul identity as you know it will never be in another body. But all these other souls from the same higher self will be in additional bodies and additional lifetimes. So think of this higher self, another way to explain it is this higher self is your overall consciousness of being, and it essentially splits itself an insurmountable amount of ways. That is why each soul in each lifetime is very, very similar, yet has some caveats of difference, because each soul is essentially the same consciousness split. And that is the difference between the higher self and the soul. So the reason that we want to try to use the words as cleanly and clearly as we can is because when we're saying your soul, we're talking about the piece of consciousness that is inside of you, the piece of consciousness that is working in this current lifetime, the piece of consciousness that is attached to you as you know you to be currently. And when we say the higher self, we're talking about your overall consciousness that is a part of higher consciousness, spirit, a part of the spirit realm, always. They're two different things. So your soul, connecting to your soul, will provide a large amount of wisdom for you in this iteration, but connecting to your higher self provides an even larger amount of wisdom, a deeper degree of wisdom, because your higher self literally is a part of higher consciousness and all that is. So when we read, for example, the Akashic Records, we are connecting to all that is. We are connecting to the database, if you want to call it that, of everything that resides in the past, as us humans like to call it, the present, as us humans like to call it, and the future. And that is where higher consciousness resides. It's one and the same. So your higher self is a part of higher consciousness. Your soul rolls up to that. So in order to receive the largest breadth of information, we would want to connect to your higher self. I thank you for joining me for this short video today. I will be back sooner rather than later. And until then, much love. Bye.